Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Aisha. I'm a certified trauma-informed coach and manifestation guide. And today's video is a pressing topic. It's urgent. If you are feeling like giving up on manifesting, if you feel like quitting, if you feel like it's hopeless, if you feel like you've tried and tried and tried and you're not getting results and you're frustrated and you're exhausted and you're just burnt out on manifestation and you wish you never heard about manifestation, you never learned about law of assumption, this is the video for you. When it comes to that feeling of quitting or burnout or feeling like you're exhausted from trying, it's because you've been trying. You've been trying and efforting to manifest instead of changing your identity. Now, I want you to reflect for a minute on times in your life that you had a formative experience that caused you to become a different person, essentially. If I look back when I was a teenager, I went through so many different phases, right? And phases, when you're a teenager, really just means you're shifting your identity. So there was a phase where I was really into the Beatles and I loved wearing tie-dye and dressing kind of like hippy-dippy and 70s, and I wore a lot of vintage and vintage jeans. I would dye my clothing and have fun in that way. I was really into creative expression, and that was my flavor, right? That was my phase of life where those were my interests, and that's how I identified. And then about a year later, I got really into grunge and like a deeper, darker aesthetic where I would wear black and draw my eyebrows really pencil thin every once in a while. I dyed my hair dark. I cut a straight across fringe. I would listen to music like The Cure and Nirvana and kind of like grungy and also gothic music, and I was really exploring some of the darker expressions of art in that year. And again, that phase, I was identifying as someone who was into some of the darker expressions of art, and I was exploring that. So I went from like this really light, frilly, happy, carefree type of aesthetic to more of like a dark and edgy and fierce aesthetic. And then my junior year, I kind of was like a sweatpants and t-shirt type of person. So I still had a little bit of that dark aesthetic, but I moved into more of like a comfy athletic aesthetic where I would wear these baggy sweats most of the time, or leggings and a t-shirt and tennis shoes, and I was just very casual with how I dressed. Like, I was not dressed up at all. I didn't really do my makeup. I barely did my hair. I would usually throw it up in a ponytail, and I was like a very carefree type of laid back, chill personality. And then going into my senior year, I did struggle a little bit more with my mental health that year. And so a lot of the creative expressions outwardly were absent in that year. And again, that phase of life, I was identifying as someone who had depression without consciously realizing it, without choosing it. I was identifying as someone who was struggling. And so when I can look back at all of these phases of life, all of these identities, all of these versions of myself I presented myself as, it's a great example, and I'm sure you can pull from your own life to see how there were times in your life you listened to different music, you watched different TV shows, you wore different clothing, you hung out with different friends, you had different conversations, you saw yourself differently. And if you're feeling the need to manifest, if you're feeling the desire to change your life, it's because the current expression of your self-concept no longer fits, right? So when I transitioned from hippy-dippy pinks and tie-dyes and light colors and vintage jeans to a more edgy, dark, gothic, like chains as accessories and buckles and, you know, big, like chunky boots and things like that, that was a drastic shift in my identity. It was a drastic shift in how I saw myself. And so when you're feeling like the hippy dippy doesn't fit anymore, you go out into the world and you search and you try on different things. I didn't overnight get rid of all the clothes in my closet and stop listening to certain types of music and decide, no, I'm goth now, or I'm grunge now, or whatever you want to label it. I didn't do this shift overnight. It was like little by little, I started to notice myself wearing darker colors. I stopped being obsessed with tie-dye. I outgrew the mom jean trend and started to wear more skinny jeans, and rather than wearing my bright pink Doc Martens, I decided to find like nice black boots that would match my outfits, and things like that. And the people that I hung around, my friends at the time, as I transitioned, like they observed me transitioning, and so the friends that connected with that old self, that weren't able to come with me to the new self, they didn't, but I ended up making new friends, and I experienced life in a different way, from a different lens. And it was so natural. It was so easy. It was so comfortable to make that transition because I wasn't forcing it. I was being my authentic self. I was being who I felt like I identified as. I was allowing myself to get into different music and explore. I was allowing myself to decide, hey, I don't like wearing these clothes anymore. Instead, I'm going to wear these clothes. I was expressing myself in a way that felt real to me. And manifestation should feel that way. It should feel as though you're waking up and you're just doing what feels right to you. And what this can look like is waking up and deciding the normal breakfast that you have, you don't want to have that breakfast anymore. You want to eat breakfast out every morning, or, vice versa. If you're somebody who goes through the takeout drive-through every morning for your breakfast, maybe you've decided, no, today I'm going to be the person who cooks their breakfast at home, and I'm going to stick with that as long as it feels natural. And like every facet of life that you could change about your identity begins to shift. And the difference between it happening naturally without you forcing it and consciously trying to make it happen, and conscious manifestation where you are maybe forcing it a little bit, you are pushing a little too hard, is that when you are naturally flowing through life and allowing yourself to outgrow the old and grow into the new, you're not judging yourself for it. You don't feel pressured to make the change by a certain time frame. You're not putting all of these external circumstances on you. Oh, I have to do this to do that. I mean, and by all means, when you're a teenager, sometimes, yeah, you tell yourself, okay, I have to wear these to fit in. But that's not what I'm talking about in this lesson. What I mean is when we are manifesting consciously and we are actually truly aware of our self-concept, making the change feels easy. It's not stressful. When I started my conscious manifestation journey, because, excuse me, sorry, burping a little bit, we cannot stop manifesting ever. Even if you quit manifestation, you are still literally manifesting. You are still thinking and believing and assuming, and those thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions are going to create your reality by shaping your identity. So you can't just stop. Quitting, for you, if you feel like you're quitting, means you're giving up on yourself. And trust me, that doesn't take you anywhere good. It doesn't take you anywhere but more depression, more anxiety, more stress, more lack, more desperation, more neediness, more unfulfillment. So don't quit. Change your practice. Change how you relate to manifestation. Change how you're seeing your desires. And I know there's so many processes out there, but the most simple thing to do is to sit with yourself and ask what feels natural. Going back to what I was saying, when I began my conscious manifestation journey, I knew I wanted to be a healthy person. I knew I wanted to lose weight. I knew I wanted my body to look a certain way. I knew I wanted to be able to shop at certain stores without having to look for extended sizes online. I knew that I didn't want to feel self-conscious in clothes. I knew that I wanted more accessibility, more options to express my fashion outwardly. That's something I've always done. And when I got heavier, that wasn't an option for me. I was confined because they just don't have as many plus size options in stores. And a lot of the things they do have in stores weren't age appropriate, or they just didn't fit my vibe. And I mean, clearly, like in all of my videos, I'm wearing very different styles, and I really like to express myself that way. So it was so important to me. It was more than just the fashion and the body image, though. It was also my health. I wanted to live long and feel good in my body. I didn't want to be tired when I was going up and down stairs or bringing groceries into the house. I didn't want to like be straining when I bent over to tie my shoes and feel my belly in the way. There were so many things. And because there were so many things, I had a very high motivation. I had a lot of pain that was pushing me in the direction of my desire. And so when you feel like giving up, oftentimes there is a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain that's telling you, I can't stay here. I can't live like this. I don't want to continue my life in this way. But pain without making decisions is not going to create change. You have to actually make a decision and make a commitment. And I can distinctly remember the feeling of, I'm so done. I'm so done with settling for less. I'm so done like settling for less from other people, the way they're treating me. I'm done living in an apartment that is less than what I deserve to live in. I'm tired of being in a body that is less capable than I desire for it to be. I'm tired of settling for clothing that fits me and not being able to wear the clothing that really fits my personality. I'm tired of covering my body up and hiding it. I'm tired of feeling lack of confidence. Like all of those were in my brain. I was living that reality. I was in that state of being where I was frustrated and I was so upset at myself and upset at my circumstances. And the turning point was, instead of blaming the world, instead of blaming my genetics, saying, oh, I'm always a big woman, like I'm just always gonna be bigger because my family is bigger and it's so easy for me to gain weight. No, I stopped that narrative. I changed the narrative to, you know what, I've seen a ton of other people who come from big families who put on weight easily and they were able to lose weight. So what's my excuse? It's my belief. So if my old belief isn't working, let me choose a better belief. And in order to choose a better belief, you have to be aware of yourself. So when you catch yourself saying, I'm a bigger woman, I'm always going to be a bigger woman, you go, wait, no, that's old me, right? We're not doing that anymore. We're not saying that anymore, and we're not going to believe that anymore. What is the next best thought I can think right now? And sometimes the next best thought you can think isn't the opposite of, oh, like, I'm going to be skinny. I've always been skinny. It's so easy for me to be skinny. It doesn't have to be polar opposite, black and white, from what you're feeling in that present moment. What it can be like instead is, you know what? I do appreciate that I'm still curvy as a bigger woman. I do appreciate that at least I sometimes have a lot of confidence in myself and in my body. I appreciate that I'm able to walk right now and I can still have an active lifestyle even if it's difficult for me. Find the next best thing you can say to yourself about that circumstance, and that's how you shift. You just keep doing that on repeat as you go through life. So when I decided, once I started being conscious of those moments, it got easier. It didn't feel forced because little by little I was making these choices. So for example, I would wake up in the morning and I did a 30-day 1-hour walking challenge, and that's what like really jump-started my weight loss and my healthy lifestyle. But even after that 30 days, I would wake up and ask myself, okay, am I gonna make a healthy choice this morning? Yes or no? And I would just be patient, and sometimes the answer would be no, and it'd be like, okay, why do I feel like it's difficult to make a healthy choice this morning? Why do I feel like it's easier to go run to McDonald's and have a breakfast than it is to make a breakfast at home? What's getting in my way? Is it my emotions? Is it that I feel like I'm not inspired by my goal anymore? Do I feel depressed? Do I feel discouraged or unmotivated for some specific reason that I can address? Am I just having an off day? And sometimes if I'm having an off day, I just will make the next best decision, right? So, okay, maybe I'm not going to go to McDonald's for breakfast. Maybe I'll go to Safeway and pick up basically the same thing, like a frozen sandwich. Because at least that way I'm still interrupting the pattern. I'm still making a slightly better choice because they do have like light options in the supermarket that they obviously don't have at McDonald's. I could get something that has egg instead of bread, for example, or I can get the turkey sausage instead of whatever. I'm sure it was pork. I was not Muslim back then. But you know, like what was the next best decision that I could make? What was just the next easiest decision for me to make? And let me make that. And again, throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, it was these tiny decisions. It was these micro moments in time that changed my identity. It wasn't just I woke up one day and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for a 1 hour walk every single day at 6 a.m. and then I'm gonna stretch for 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna do a whole self-care routine for 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna go to work and I'm gonna bring my lunch from home, and I'm only gonna drink water, and I'm not gonna drink any coffee today, and when I get home I'm gonna exercise again, and I'm gonna journal, and I'm gonna do my business, and then I'm gonna go to sleep really early so I can wake up and do it all over again. Like, no. That has never been my life. I promise you, that has never been my life. And honestly, I don't think I could ever operate on autopilot like that. My brain is too adventurous for that. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling frustrated by manifestation, it's because you're pressuring yourself to do it all overnight. You're pressuring yourself to become this new version of you by the snap of your finger. You are being so hard and critical on yourself when you do make mistakes. You're not even letting yourself change. So instead, just be kind to yourself and let the change flow through you. If you tell yourself every day, I'm a healthy person, I'm a healthy person, I'm a healthy person, your brain is going to look for ways to prove it. But it's not going to automatically do it for you until it becomes a habit, until the identity sinks in. So in the beginning, the more you say, I'm a healthy person, I'm a healthy person, I'm a healthy person, your brain is gonna say, prove it. All right, choose the water over the soda, or choose the diet over the full sugar. It's gonna say, park 10 spots away instead of the closest spot you can find when you are at the supermarket, and just walk a little bit. It's gonna say, take the stairs instead of the elevator. It's gonna say, like, remember to take your vitamins and not make excuses when you fall off the horse. You know, it's these micro moments that add up to the total sum of you. And that's how you change your concept of yourself. And that's how you don't quit on manifestation. You focus on the small, tangible, day-to-day experiences right in front of you. The little micro decisions that you make as you go through life. That's what changes you. That's what manifests. I know that this video was helpful for some of you. I'm so glad you watched all the way through. I appreciate you for being here on my channel. And if weight loss isn't your thing, don't worry, I do have a Manifest Your Marriage self-concept course down below. I keep calling it that. Marriage material self-concept course for you to become the woman of your dreams, to become the version of yourself that is confident and capable and gets everything that she wants and is treated the way that she wants to be treated. So if you're looking to start a relationship, manifest a specific person, get a specific person back, or just feel like your best self, that course is down below. Also, my books are back open for one-to-one coaching. I do have an email hybrid coaching program in the description box as well. And if you enjoyed this video, drop a like, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel for more. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!